Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Josh Brumm, your host, Energy Storage Manager here at Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. We're so glad you're here with us today. Every single week, experts from around the world. Oh, wow. And last week, we got to rub shoulders with a lot of experts out at Intersolar last week in Long Beach, California. Talk about getting to meet a lot of experts and partners here with Soligent. Great vendors, energy storage vendors, and folks who make energy storage possible for the masses. And I'm referring to the greatest inverter, the best inverter in the universe, is my opinion. Sol-Ark inverters, hybrid inverters, grid-tied, battery backup, whole house backup, now commercial and industrial options with a 30K and 60K, off-grid, you name it, even grid-tie only, AC couple, DC couple, very efficient, easy to program, easy to use, battery agnostic. I don't want to take away all the thunder from my guests today, but I feel it's just so important to introduce them properly. They are amazing partners, amazing ownership as well. Their team, I've been working with Bhavna, Tom, Andy on the show today. Andy Goldstein joining us. He is from Sol-Ark, the best inverters in the universe, regional director of sales, and of course Sol-Ark out there last week at Intersolar, had a great time, got to meet a lot of customers. And, you know, Andy is at all of these different shows on a regular basis. We're excited that he's here today so much that we brought him on the show. But he's here live. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend and partner from Sol-Ark Inverters here on the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. By the way, like this video, subscribe here at the Soligent YouTube channel, click on the notification bell, and click on the comment section below and fill it out right there. What does Beyond Emissions mean for you? And we ask that question every week. Type it down. Participate with us in this conversation. But from Sol-Ark, Andy Goldstein with us here on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast, Andy.
Wow, Josh, that was quite the introduction. Really appreciate the kind words, and we're super excited to be here with you today.
Oh man, and we've been working with each other for a very long time. It's an intimate process where I have gotten to know you, your team, and just the great benefits that are so amazing, helping give energy independence, empowering customers of all kinds around the world. Sol-Ark is amazing, and I see why you're still there after so many years. You know, in this solar business, people bounce around so much. You've been there at Sol-Ark for quite a while, and you've seen the results actually happen in changing people's lives and making a difference in the world, not only beyond emissions from an environmental standpoint, but helping companies economically by providing them with such great solutions. I mean, we're so glad we're partnered with Sol-Ark here at Soligent. Big time. Now, I asked the question, Andy, beyond emissions, you know, it means so many different things to different folks. By the way, again, like, subscribe, hit the reminder bell, comment down below, listeners. We've got Andy Goldstein from Sol-Ark with us today, best inverters in the universe. Put down in the comment section, what does beyond emissions mean for you? Andy, answer that same question if you don't mind. I know it's near and dear to your heart as well. What does beyond emissions mean to you?
Absolutely, Josh. Beyond emissions, for me, it really means self-reliance and energy independence. And when I met Tom and Bhavna for the first time and they told me their story, it just resonated so deeply with me beyond work, beyond anything else. They shared with me how they wanted to have a system that would work for them and other families, that would be super easy to install, that would bring complete and total energy independence, not just for them, but for families, that would be easy enough for even a decently handy person to install. And when they told me that, it's veteran owned, it was founded by them. They didn't have any outside investment. They basically went all in to make this mission happen, not only for them but for other families. I was really touched, and it really was something that I said, this has to become part of my life mission as well. So when I joined Sol-Ark, we wanted to do what we do best and focus on families, focus on what we found to be a gap in the market where there are a lot of people out there. Of course, everybody wants clean water, clean air, and have a cleaner environment. I think the vast majority of people absolutely do want that, even if they may not say that. Nobody likes to feel dirty or be in a dirty place. But what really resonates, I think, nowadays with a lot of people is what resonated with me, because I was previously a dealer. I was, and a customer, and now I'm part of the team. And that goes back to how can I help people help themselves? How can we help people navigate a world where they want to be energy independent? And so the Sol-Ark technology, product suite just allows for that to happen. That's always been at the forefront of our minds, at the core of our mission when we're designing products, whether it's super robust hardware or super stable software, and all of the different whistles and bells and features that our products can do. It's always with the end customer in mind. So for the past several years, we've been focused primarily on homeowners and small business owners, but we've taken things to the next level this year. We're going to be pushing very hard into what we feel is the most neglected part of the market, and that is small and light commercial. And so we will be launching our 30K 208 native three-phase inverters, as well as our 60K 277 480 native three-phase inverters. And to complement those products, we will also be releasing our optimizers. And I know there's been a lot of excitement in the market. We had to make a few adjustments due to the Inflation Reduction Act because of the incentives involved. But everybody, please be patient. We will be releasing our microinverters, I think, by the end of this year, if not sooner. So stay tuned. And so, all of those products together are part of a roadmap that is part of the Sol-Ark mission to bring total energy independence to families and businesses. And how would I define energy independence? Because I think that also means something a little different to each person. Well, number one, we are finding in the market different utilities. They like to behave differently, and some utilities are creating peak and off-peak rate structures. Others are doing away with dollar for dollar net metering. There's a lot of talk, I think, about the NEM 3.0 in California.
Yeah.
There are a lot of co-ops in rural areas
that
are doing away with dollar for dollar net metering.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're really excited to be able to release products that are super easy to install. We have an awesome engineering team. They're super personable. You can call them 7 days a week. Again, 7 days a week. Our phone number, cheap plug, Josh, 972-575-8875. 7 days a week. We'd love to talk to homeowners. If you're an installer, if you're a solar sales guy, a door knocker, and a marketer, if you're an owner, we will speak with you. It doesn't matter if you are as basic about solar as, hey, I'm just now getting into it, ABC, Sesame Street, Big Bird, or you're a guru who's been doing systems for longer than I've been alive, and everything in between. We would love to hear from you. I'd like to joke with our customers or, prospects that call in, and I say, if you're not calling our phone number, if you're not emailing us, then actually that's your fault, not ours. If we're not being responsive, I want to hear about it. It's extremely important to be responsive. It's extremely important to us to have timely answers, because when we go back to our core purpose of making sure that anybody has power, power is extremely critical. The joke of being, what is the most expensive power? Josh, it's the power you don't have. And if you lose power for whatever reason, we're not perfect, but we strive, to be the best. We want you to be able to call us anytime and get really, really quick answers. We'll look at your designs. We'll coach you through best practices, because at the end of the day, we're an engineering firm, and that's what we're here to do. So beyond emissions, really, in conclusion, it's like I said, the utilities are changing things. A lot of people are, because of technology, they're moving into more rural areas or wanting to go completely off grid. You can get internet, for example, with technologies like Starlink. That's just one that comes to mind. I'm sure there are many others.
Ooh.
But you don't necessarily have to be in a super urban area. You can be in a more rural area, and a lot of people are working remote from home, and they need power. And how do they power their structures? Well, maybe they can't bring in the utility at all. Maybe they want to have the creature comforts that were previously way out of budget, in the past, to be able to power off grid. And now they're, because of technology and the evolution of the industry, we're able to make that happen for them. So that's where we're going, is we're wanting to reduce reliance for a lot of people on the power grid as much as possible. But at the same time, we're realistic. So when you're looking at, the realistic, the reality of the world, that, not everybody's going to go into a rural environment or go off grid. We get it. We're also getting involved in ways to collaborate with the utilities. Now, some people kind of look at me with a weird, a squirrely eyebrow or something. You're going to collaborate with the utilities. I thought we were going head to head, fisticuffs against the utilities, and it's like, well, it doesn't have to be that way. Solar has technologies that are software-based that allow us to communicate in a way that the utilities actually benefit and homeowners actually benefit. Because as much as battery technology is advancing and coming down in cost, it's still almost 50% of the cost of a solar plus storage system. So when you can install batteries but also have the utility help pay for it, it brings down the cost for the homeowner, and at the same time, or the business owner, and at the same time, the utility benefits because they're now able to pull power at a time that the utility needs power. And we call this a VPP, or you'll hear virtual power plant. And this is a way that utilities are aligning with homeowners to be able to pay the homeowner for the power, and the utility can benefit by being able to have access to power more quickly, more cheaply. And at Solar-Ark, we're focused on those initiatives as well. So we're coming at this energy independence and self-reliance angle from many angles, actually. And Josh, we're thrilled to be partnering with Soligent, and you guys have been tremendous advocates for us as a manufacturer and technology company, and we just feel very blessed to be able to take care of homeowners through you guys.
It's just like a boss of mine from a long time ago in the radio industry, far, far away, Mimi Stoneburner, rest in peace. She's no longer with us, but she was general manager and owner of K-Tip Radio, a place where I worked a long, long time ago. And I remember coming in regards to having discussions about clients and new advertising customers that we were creating some campaigns, marketing campaigns for. And she told a young Josh Brumm, by the way, Josh Brumm here, energy storage manager with Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. With us today, Andy Goldstein from Solar-Ark, partners with Soligent. Click on the link below and find out how you can get Solar-Ark Solutions, the best inverters in the universe, commercial, industrial, residential, off-grid, on-grid, DC coupled, AC coupled, extremely flexible, affordable, and battery agnostic. We're going to go into some of those details with Andy here in just a moment. What you're talking about, Andy, and by the way, folks, click on the link below to join us every single show. Beyond Emissions is here on the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and at Spotify as well, so you can listen while you've got some windshield time or you're working out there. I mean, instead of just listening to mindless music, we have experts like Andy from around the world that are on the program every week sharing their knowledge on how we can create this emissions-free future at the Beyond Emissions podcast. So Andy Goldstein from Sol-Ark with us today. Thank you again, Andy. Thank you, listeners, for joining us every week here at Beyond Emissions. This lady, her name was Mimi Stoneburner, owner of K-Tip Radio, where I worked in a former life, as you can tell, right? And she tells me, she goes, now remember when we're creating campaigns for these customers, for these clients, Josh, remember that you always have to create a situation to where it's win-win-win, to where everybody wins. And when I'm hearing you talk about all of the different parties, the homeowner, the installer, the distributor, us, the regular Joe on the street that's interested in going off grid at his cabin or her cabin, or even the utility, which generally speaking, like you said, there's this combative attitude. You're coming at it from the same idea that Mimi espoused back then, my former boss in radio. She said, create a win-win-win scenario. Sol-Ark is creating a win-win-win scenario where everyone wins, right? Great culture.
That's our intent, that we don't think that, it has to be combative. We think there's opportunity for all to benefit here. We just use the technology to do that, and we like to focus on the engineering, the education, because you can't dispute 1 + 1 is 2. It's either it's going to work or it's not going to work, and we'll let you know. So, for example, if you're considering something, some type of application, some type of way of doing things, and you're thinking about Sol-Ark or you're thinking about another product, just give us a call, 972-575-8875. We'll let you know. If we're the right fit, we'll tell you. If we're not the right fit, we'll also tell you, and we're happy to direct you to others in the industry, because at the end of the day, we have this culture here at Sol-Ark to be honest and make sure that you get the most optimized solution for whatever application. But then, of course, we're always striving to be the best in class when it comes to technology and knowledge and service. And so we would hope you would choose us. Because that's our goal, to be the best in the industry. So appreciate what your story, Josh. It's something that it's just really important that we do our best to. It's my intention to project to everybody that we're trying to be more than just a manufacturer. We're trying to be more than just a technology company. The tools are the technology and the innovation and the products, but the ethos or the essence of who we are, we're hoping to spread that word and just make sure that people are looked after the right way. So, like, if you're a designer and you're confused on maybe what's the right way to design something, that's just a tiny example. Give us a call or email us. Say, hey, I got this back of the napkin thing I did with a big pen on while I was at Applebee's hey, that's cool. Just take a photo of it with your phone, send it to us, and we'll talk you through it. If you've already got all your plan sets put together, but, you've thought about maybe adding a battery, but you didn't have a battery, or you already have solar, but you want to, add some backup or something, give us a call. If we're the right fit for you, great. If not, we'll steer you in the right direction. If you need a recommendation for a battery, we're happy to do that as well. Not all chemistries are alike, and not all technologies are the same. There's a lot of hyper speed advancement, and we try to stay up to speed. So if you hear about something and you're like, I'm not really sure if that's the right fit, give us a call. We'll chat with you about it. Whether it's anything as basic as a marine battery, AGM, lead acid, or if it's LFP, lithium iron phosphate battery, or all these other chemistries and everything in between, just give us a call. again, we're battery agnostic.
Yes.
We don't have our own battery. We don't intend to come out with a battery. We like to play nice with everybody. Same thing with the rapid shutdown optimizer we're coming out with. If you work with other inverters, that's cool. We're happy to. We would appreciate being a part of that system and handling the rapid shutdown and the optimization aspect of it. So that's what our intent is in the industry, is to maximize compatibility, maximize flexibility. There's a joke in the office sometimes. We don't want to be the Cheesecake Factory. I don't mean to pick on the Cheesecake Factory, but I remember as a kid going there and they give me this menu, and it was like this massive book that I had to read, and I was like, I have to read this book, just to figure out what I want to eat. But there is that amount of mix match flexibility and customization that leave that to us. We'll train you on that, but that's where we come in. We can just pick something out of the menu of options, that big thick book of options with all of the different technologies out there, to say, hey, this is how you would marry whatever you're trying to do with a Sol-Ark, either as a hybrid inverter, an optimizer, it's a commercial grade, is it residential, is it on grid, is it off grid? Are you retrofitting? So maybe you have an existing system, maybe you have Enphase microinverters or an SMA string inverter or a Solar Edge string inverter with DC optimizers, and you're like, man, now I'm ready to add batteries and I need quite a bit of power, or maybe just a little bit of power, but I need an option. Give us a call. We'll make a recommendation about one of our products, how you can just easily do what we call as a retrofit. Just add it right on. And then if you want to expand the size of that system, you can do that too. You can just add more solar panels. And we also have some pretty cool capabilities to work even with other types of renewable DC sources of power, like micro hydro. We do that quite a bit on the off-grid niche. But the idea is, don't just think about solar as the DC source. You can also think about other DC sources of power that can marry well with our the DC side of our inverter. It may need, depending on the situation, maybe a little bit of extra equipment that we can recommend. But the idea is you can make it work with our all-in-one hybrid inverter, and we're here to help.
Flexibility, customization. Yep. Sol-Ark is the centerpiece to make that happen. And Sol-Ark inverters and solutions are available right now from Soligent. Available. Click on the link below here at Soligent, and we will connect you with a Sol-Ark specialist right away. I'm thinking residential. The solutions are amazing, especially the new 15K with the internal 200 amp transfer switch, truly allowing for whole house backup. We see the ads on TV, back up your house. And they show this little small, maybe 5 kilowatt hour box. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a sub panel there, it's not backing up the whole house. That's not really, and I'm not picking on anyone. This is just what a lot of people are doing. They're misleading people when, and again, if all they're able to do is back up a sub panel, the 8K and 12K and 5K can do the same thing, where you can back up your emergency loads, like if the grid goes down, back up your fridge, freezer, and some lights. That's great. But the Sol-Ark 15K, with that 200 amp internal transfer switch, eliminates the need to have that critical load sub panel, right? And you can go directly and back up the main electrical panel if you properly size with the correct sized battery system to pair with that. You truly can back up your whole home, right?
And that's absolutely right, Josh. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds on all the details. Just reach out to our engineers anytime. Like I said, 7 days a week, 972-575-8875 to ask any specific questions about how to do that setup. But Josh, you're absolutely right. In general, you can do that with the 200 amp transfer switch built in to avoid the need for a separate loads panel and pulling wire and extra installation time. It's a real hassle. But I wanted to also focus on, you mentioned that people wanted to back up critical items, like, they need to make sure not just like their refrigerators and their TVs and their iPads and their cell phones can be charged, but we want to make sure that you can even power the things that are most important to you. So, for example, we have a lot of homeowners that are elderly. They have medical devices. Whether it's I think a heart monitor or a CPAP machine for sleep apnea. They can't afford a glitch. They can't afford. Literally, it's a matter of life and death for them. They need a system that will switch, even in a way where they wouldn't even notice that the power grid failed. And that's with our 5 millisecond transfer time, fastest in the industry. It's so fast that you don't even know it happens. So that can protect all of your critical devices. We work in banks. We work in server rooms. If you work from home and you have a computer and you can't afford to let it reboot and then lose all your data, that's a key feature that customers choose Sol-Ark for, because I'm not going to pick on anybody on this call, but we don't know of anyone else that can do that as quickly as we can. And that's why a lot of customers, they may look at our products sometimes and they go, hey, it's not the, I'll be honest, it's not the prettiest or the sleekest looking guy in the room, but man, I'm telling you, it will do it. It's an absolute beast. It's going to do the job that you need it to do at the most critical moment when you need to protect your family or protect those devices. So we're doing a lot of disaster relief work. We're in hospitals, and we're in like I said, we're also in military and government for this feature. And then there's something that we do it's a little more exotic. It's definitely niche, but we're seeing quite a bit of interest. Is our EMP, so that stands for electromagnetic pulse, or EMP hardened technology. Mm-hmm. We're a veteran-owned company. The founders came from defense engineering backgrounds. They brought with them some proprietary technologies that allow us to protect the power system against electromagnetic pulse. And so, not to get into the weeds about electromagnetic pulse, but essentially it's a big wave that can, it's energy wave that can completely destroy electronics, and it can destroy the power grid.
Yeah, solar flares like the, Carrington event that happened in the 1800s that fried all the telegraph lines, or a nuclear device being exploded in the atmosphere, and boom, we're back in the Stone Ages if we're not EMP protected, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And cyber attacks are actually a more, I would say, we don't like our minds to go to dark directions thinking about thermonuclear war, like you pointed out, even though it can protect against that. But, cyber attacks are more and more a reality of the world. So we have security-minded groups that like to work with us. And so for the homeowners who maybe not are, as concerned, or I would say preparedness, prepper type, culture is not as important to them. We get that. But what they can feel comfortable with, we hope, is that if it's good enough for a prepper, if it's good enough for the military, if it's good enough for security-minded individuals, it's absolutely, without question, going to be good enough for them.
Sol-Ark Regional Director of Sales Andy Goldstein with us from Sol-Ark Inverters, the best inverters in the universe, folks, available right here at Sol-Ark. Soligent. We've got the same first name, Sol, right, after solar. Sol-Ark and Soligent, synonymous with independence, giving you an empowering opportunity to empower you, yourself, your families, your business, and your communities right here at Soligent. Click on the link below and get Sol-Ark solutions today. I want to touch, by the way, thanks for tuning in, listeners. Again, Andy Goldstein from Sol-Ark here on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Like this show, click on it and subscribe. Go up to the reminder bell on the corner, the notification bell, so you can be a part of this ongoing conversation. Experts from around the world telling us the innovations of the technologies of how we're going to create this world that is beyond emissions. And Sol-Ark, I believe, is a centerpiece to make that happen, in addition to helping your pocketbook, saving money, energy independence, peace of mind, etc. You talked about a gap in the market. I love how you did that. When I was thinking about commercial industrial opportunities. I live here in Central California, and I think of all of the food processing and cold storage locations where we're the ag central, central area of the whole world. We produce a lot of the food that the world eats. If you're having, all the way down to the ketchup that you have, it probably came from tomatoes out of Central California. If you're having, Mexican food, there's probably some peppers that came out of Central California. And a lot of that is processed here in Central California with 24-hour a day. Leprino Foods does, I believe they do a lot of cheese, and we have dairy here. And all this food is processed that we eat not only in our country, but around the world 24 hours a day. These operations need to keep running and running and running. And they get killed on demand charges. Like even if they've gotten grid tie solar in the past, for example, I have gone on a tour before with owners, and they pull out their bills. They pull out their bills of the utility bill, the electric bill, and they say, look at this, I've got solar, but because of these demand charges, look how huge they are. Can we do energy storage or something like that to kind of run our operation, or maybe at least part of our operation during, this hour and this hour? Because we can't shut down. We just have to suck it up and pay the money, and it's killing us. We would love to not have to pay that. We have solar, but what the heck, Josh? And I'm like, at the time, we didn't have a solar commercial industrial solution. And we do now. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about that, Andy, because now we can go back to somebody who has a grid tie system. They've invested in solar for their business, then maybe a 24-hour operation, and they haven't been able to use energy storage to really mitigate those costs. With Sol-Ark, it's possible. Would you be willing to go into that for our listeners today?
Absolutely, and it's amazing how there's been such an opportunity that we believe has been passed up on from an R&D standpoint in the market. The opportunity to help so many small and medium-sized businesses out there, or large corporations that have small and medium-sized locations, is tremendous. Anybody listening just can imagine, how many gas stations do you pass every day? How many auto shops do you pass every day? How many small offices that are they kind of look like single family dwellings. They kind of look like houses, but they're actually businesses. How many fast food restaurants are just in your neighborhood? All of those companies have the opportunity now to have the same benefits that homeowners have, or the really big guys. The really large mega warehouses, or the centralized storage and utility scale storage. All of those things are great, but we've found that the business community has kind of been left behind, and so we set out to change that. So we designed a 30K native three-phase 208 hybrid. It's different than a grid-tied inverter, so sometimes we do get a little confused. Well, meaning. We find that others call in, they're a little confused. They're like, oh, well, I've been doing commercial grade inverters for a long time. On the grid tied side, yes, but is it an all-in-one, totally seamless? You can install a grid tied, but add batteries in it. All the same features that Josh has touched on about our residential Sol-Ark all-in-one inverters. We have not found all of those features available for the commercial market, but that's going to change starting this month in February. We're going to be shipping our first batches of the 30K to all of our distributors. Soligent, if you guys, I'm talking to the installers out there, the EPCs. When you're ready to get your hands on your first units, just give Soligent a call, because you'll be able to get your hands on 30Ks. And then I'm expecting, again, I don't want R&D to throw tomatoes at me, but I'm expecting April for the 60K guys. Don't call in and on April 1st and throw a tomato at me if it's not ready yet. But I think it's going to be ready. But suffice to say, before let's just say the first half of the year, you will have 30Ks and 60K hybrid inverters out in the market with high voltage batteries, providing protection for businesses critical backup on one hand is important, but really mitigating those demand charges, being able to peak shave at those critical times. And Josh touched on something also that we know that there is a lot of commercial solar, or in our geek speak, C&I, happening all over the place. I mean, it's been happening for a long, long time on the grid tied side, and we think that's tremendous. But, so where we think that there's a lot of opportunity is in using our AC coupling retrofit feature. If you have a new install, maybe a customer needs 30, 50, 100, 150 kilowatts of solar, they want to add batteries, they can install the solar first, DC coupled, really easy, just like the residential ones. But then, we oftentimes get phone calls now where customers like, hey, I heard about your 30K or 60K, it's coming out. I have 500 kilowatts of PV solar on a roof for one of my clients. But they don't need all 500 kilowatts of solar for the backup portion. Maybe they just need 50 kilowatts of backup or 60 kilowatts of backup portion with just a small battery bank. Hey, that's no problem. We'll just AC couple a portion of it. Conversely, maybe somebody has, 60 or 80 kilowatts of solar and they need to have 200 kilowatts of solar. Hey, that's no problem either. We'll just AC couple the 60 to 80 that they have and then add another 120 kilowatts on the DC side, and we can stack multiple units together. So it's quite flexible, and we think that working with you, and I'm speaking to the EPCs, the installers, the solar sales consultants, the designers, reach out to your commercial customers, learn about what's happening with their utility bills, especially for demand charges. Ask them questions about their business to find maybe they have some particular aspect of their business that's important to them that they can't afford to lose power, and they need that insurance. They need an insurance policy that's renewable. It's got no moving parts. It's totally clean. It's good for the environment, and that their financial decision makers would be happy with. Their insurance company would be happy with. Hopefully, they can bring down their premiums. Maybe I can't speak for the insurance industry, but we see opportunities there. Hey, if you're reducing the amount of risk or loss, potential loss that a business could have using solar plus storage, we think that there's value there for an insurance carrier to reward a business owner for that. So I can't speak for the insurance industry, but that's where our mindset is, and that goes back to really thinking about what's best for the owners of the business, so that they can bring the most value, of course, to their customers, with whatever product or service they provide, while maximizing, a business is a business, and so we hope to maximize their profitability as well. There are a lot of tax breaks and incentives that they can monetize that maybe previously they haven't been able to monetize by adding a solar plus storage solution to their business.
Almost every single hybrid inverter out there that uses batteries, they have something in common, and I feel Sol-Ark has an advantage over them. Talk about that in just a moment. Sol-Ark Regional Director of Sales, Andy Goldstein, with us here today. Give Sol-Ark a call anytime at 972-575-8875. That's 972-575-8875. Click on the link below and become a Sol-Ark dealer today through us here at Soligent. We're excited to have Andy with us on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell, comment down below if you have any thoughts or questions about, how are we going to create this world that is beyond emissions? I believe the centerpiece to making that happen and empowering people with energy independence is with a flexible system, with Sol-Ark in the middle of that, at the foundation of it, if you will. Battery agnostic, the real ability to provide multiple options for customers, creating ultimate flexibility in making this mission of a beyond emissions future actually happen. This is great technology. The future is now. And what I was going to get to, Sol-Ark here with us again, Brian. We talked to so many other people. A friend of mine named Brian brought up one time, it's a hybrid inverter, and this is without knowing. It's a hybrid inverter. I don't want my customers to be in a situation where, it's only if it's off grid or they need batteries. And I said, no, Brian, Sol-Ark actually, talk about this, Andy. Sol-Ark actually is one of the few, if not the only one that I know of hybrid inverters that can utilize energy storage, but you can actually start off grid tie only with 0 batteries. Most inverters that are battery based require batteries to be there to provide that DC source to enter. No, you can actually be grid tie only with a Sol-Ark and have the flexibility to add batteries later. I mean, that's correct, right? What I told my friend Brian, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly correct. So a lot of homeowners or business owners don't realize that if they don't have a system that's compatible with batteries, they have to have a battery if the grid fails for the system to work. Otherwise, the entire system is going to shut off due to NEC rules, because we have to protect our linemen that get up on the utility lines. So the entire system will shut off if you don't have an inverter that has a battery connected to it. So what we found is that you have some people that are totally off-grid, and there are inverters that are designed for that, but those inverters cannot be interconnected with the grid for many reasons that we don't have to get into today, but suffice to say you can't do it. And then you have other inverters that are grid tie only, meaning those inverters can't be done off-grid, but they can be connected to the grid only. So then how do you marry the two? How do you marry being connected to the grid and being off-grid at the same time without adding a bunch of different equipment and a bunch of complexity and having to, basically customize it every single time, and there's a large margin of human error. I have to go find all these different components. I have a really long laundry list of a bill of materials that I have to get from my distributor. Why can't we just make it easy? Put it all in one box, literally one box. So you have an inverter with everything that you need inside its chassis, and then you put it inside one cardboard box that Soligent has on its shelf. You just grab the box and you take it to the job site, you connect it, and done. And it does all of the above that we just described. That's what we wanted to design for ourselves, and that's what we worked very hard to refine the design to make sure that it's easy to install. It really reduces the complexity and the guesswork and the margin for error, because you can't afford to make a mistake or have a problem when it comes to not having power available. That's a critical thing. Or maybe it doesn't do the right functionality to pull power out of a battery to protect against a really high demand charge that could cost the business a ton of money. So we've tried to think on a 360-degree level from product design, whether it's our component sourcing, manufacturing process, or customer service, also the supply chain, making it easy on companies like Soligent. We don't want to make it hard on our partners. We want to make it easy. So just one box, one SKU, whether it's a small resi inverter, 5K, 8K, 12K, 15K, or you're getting up into the bigger stuff, the 30K and the 60K. We want it to be easy for our partners to be able to order it. So if you're an installer, an EPC, a solar sales group that purchases from Soligent, you just have to remember one thing. I want the 15K, or I want the 8K, or I want the 30K. You don't have to say, hey, well, I need the inverter, but I need the this and the this and the this and the this and a million other things. We want to make it easy. And so I'm talking to the, if you're out there, the solar sales people, I understand that when customers start to ask you about batteries or storage, sometimes you can get caught a little flat-footed, or it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to get complicated, and now I'm going to confuse them and lose them. And so we're here for you. We get it. It's not as easy of a sale, so to speak, or a value proposition to just talk about avoided cost of bills. Things are much more nuanced and complex. Give us a call. Again, 972-575-8875. You can even call us with your customer there, and you can speak to one of our engineers with your customer and let us do the hard work. Let us do the sizing. Let us do the explanation of how the technology works, and we'll be happy to train you. We'll give you all the love in the world to get you up to speed, because we're all about education. But if you're kind of in this, I call it tweener space, you're not quite there yet, and you just don't feel 100% confident, then give us a call, because if you become more competent, then you will become more confident. And I can just tell you that we have so many competent engineers here that just know their stuff, that they will give you and the customer the confidence to move forward. So we do a lot of training. Get with Josh. We can set up trainings for you guys. Again, I'm talking to all the installers in the solar sales groups out there that work with Soligent. Give Josh a call. We'll get some trainings going for you, and we'll coach you on how to frame conversation, the common questions that we get asked all the time at Solar. We'll walk you right through it, Josh. So,
we'll talk with your customers, with you and for you on your behalf, and by doing so, we'll instill confidence in them in the whole process and make it super easy for you to close deals. We're here to help, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a huge thing. That I went back many moons ago when I was on the front lines and solar sales. I would have loved to have been able to just call the manufacturer and have the manufacturer validate what I was saying. It's one thing coming from Andy, the solar guy who at the kitchen table with the homeowner or on the phone, but it's another thing when the technology company, the leaders of the industry are and they're credentialed expert, telling the homeowner right there live on the phone, like, yep, that's exactly how it works. And it has such a different impact, and you can be confident that it's not going to be well, I'm not exactly sure, or let me get back to you. And then the let me get back to you turns into something that goes cold, or you lose the deal because somebody else comes in. Just get us on the horn, and we'll be happy to talk you through it. If you need to schedule something, we can do it that way as well. Sometimes something is maybe it's not that other deals are not as important, but hey, I think it's a reality. There's the bigger deal than the smaller deal, and you say, hey, I got to make sure that there's somebody available. Email us at sales@soul-ark.com or support@soul-ark.com. Give us a call and just say, hey, I would really appreciate somebody to be available at a certain time. Yeah. We'll try to make it a window. I can't say that, exactly at 2:31 p.m., we're going to call you. But if you let us know in advance, we'll do our best to work with you. So we hope that everybody out there hears our intent to be as flexible and accommodating as possible, especially when you're in a situation where the math starts to get a bit complex, and all you care about is just closing the deal and making sure that it's the right solution for the customer.
Sol-Ark Regional Director of Sales Andy Goldstein with us here at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. You can get Sol-Ark solutions today. Click on the link below. Join us here at Soligent, and we'll hook you up with some Sol-Ark solutions and all of the back-end support. I always like to say before, during, and after the sale. I mean, exactly like he says, we'll hold your hand, the customer's hand, educate you, the customer. We want you to be successful, and we want your customers to be successful. Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas, and the place to get Sol-Ark inverters. Join us today. Get these solutions today. Click on that link below. And we really appreciate you being here. Andy Goldstein with Sol-Ark. Generators, off-grid systems, and even battery backup systems in inclement weather when the sun may not be shining during storms, or it might be foggy and the sun's not shining for 3 weeks in Central California, or whatever it is, right? Wherever it is, whatever the reason, sometimes using generators are a necessity, even when you have solar, when it comes to energy storage. Now, I'm just going to say this by experience, and listeners, especially folks who are doing installing and working in the solar business for many years, most battery-based inverters are very finicky at best when working with differing brands of inverters. Programming in the inverter to do what you want it to do, not just to run the loads, but to properly charge the batteries, to do so automatically, etc. Different brands of inverters work differently with different generators. So if I need to use a generator in addition to my solar and my battery-based system, Sol-Ark, unlike some other inverters, you're not as finicky. You work very well. You play nice, if you will, with generators. I love that fact, and so do our listeners. Talk about that, Andy.
Sure, yeah. So the Sol-Ark inverter can work with AC generators. So there are DC generators out there, and there are AC generators out there. The vast majority of people have AC generators, so that could be a standby generator. There's several brands out there. No importance here. Just an example, you may have heard of brands like Kohler or Cummins or Generac or Brick & Stratton, or any standby generator can connect to the Sol-Ark, and it can be your backup to your backup. A lot of homeowners already have generators, and then they want to integrate the existing generator system that they've already invested in into their solar plus storage system, and we can do that super easily. So we can even work with the smaller portable generators. A lot of people, they get these, maybe just smaller kind. They're not standby ones, but they still want to be able to hook those up. Those will work as well, and those are really tricky because they create what's called dirty power, and I don't mean dirty as in like it's polluting. It's dirty because in our geek speak and our engineering talk, it does not create a perfect sine wave. It doesn't look like the grid. The wave is really wonky looking, and a lot of inverters can't recognize it. It doesn't see it as, oh yeah, that's grid power. But our inverter can do that. Kudos to the engineering team. In R&D, man, they worked really, really hard. It took them almost 9 months to figure that one out, but they made it happen. And so you can sell generators with confidence and add solar plus storage. You can cross-sell your customers that already have generators and get them to add solar plus storage. And then, if you have questions about this, of course, give us a call, because we oftentimes get asked if if we can do that. We can even do it with three-phase. So three-phase generators for the commercial market, we can do that too. It's not just the residential market. So great point, Josh. We can do that as well.
I've had customers in the past. I was blown away. I mean, Sol-Ark, sol-ark.com. Go there today. Click on the link below. Get Sol-Ark solutions from us here at Soligent. We love you, and we want you to have the best of the best of the best, and Sol-Ark is the best. I was blown away. Andy Goldstein from Sol-Ark with us on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Andy, I was blown away when I had a customer that lived in a remote area, did not have space for solar panels, ran their operation 24/7 off of the generator, and fuel costs were killing them. We brought in Sol-Ark plus, I think it was Simplify Power energy storage. They now run their operation at night instead of running the loud generator, and they're able to recharge the batteries back up again. What I'm saying is their fuel costs were through the roof. Generator plus Sol-Ark, no solar even involved, and it reduced their fuel cost, I think, by about $20,000 a month. I could not believe what I was hearing without solar. I mean, that's even possible without solar. Not that you would want to go without solar. It's free. It comes from the sun. But even if your generator ran operation and fuel costs are killing you, Sol-Ark and energy storage can be a solution to save money on fuel as well, right?
Absolutely. And there's another, and then further to your point, there's another protection or protective factor about it. Some customers, it's not their fault. You know, they're just trying to do what's best for their family, but they don't think it all the way through sometimes. In an example where, you know, maybe there's an area that has some weird roads, or they're really narrow, or maybe they can freeze over very easily. If you have a diesel generator and you can't get the diesel truck through to supply the diesel, well, your generator is not going to do much for you. If you have a situation where natural gas pipelines, you know, can't pump the gas because that requires power. An example of this happened in our home state, in Texas, just a few years back, when we had what we called Snowmageddon, and it went down to like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is almost unheard of in our, you know, part of the country. Then they couldn't even pump the natural gas to power a lot of the fuel-based generators. So that raised a lot of awareness even further to man, you know, how do I solve this problem? It's just about solving problems. Well, we can make you more energy independent and make your structure, your business, your home much more resilient by, you know, using solar panels, because the fuel comes from the sky, and using a solar converter with a battery to at least, you know, let you power something, you know, and then, you know, when the gas comes back, you have the generator available. So the idea is thinking through every possible scenario that could, and slice and dice based on what's important to you, and then we'll tell you how to set up the system to do what you need.
Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. We're partnered with Sol-Ark inverters and systems and technologies available right here at Soligent. Listeners, click on the link below, become a Soligent dealer today, and have access. And we keep it in stock, so we'll ship it quick from Sol-Ark. Their awesome team in Texas. They're doing an amazing job. Engineers, technology, and great people. Before I let you go, Andy, thanks again for being on the program with us today here at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Folks, click on the link below. Become a Sol-Ark dealer through Soligent today. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell, and be a part of our conversation of creating a world that is beyond emissions. Andy, before we end the broadcast today, thanks again. We're going to have you back. You promise. You got to come back.
Thanks for having me.
You know, but before we end the call, I'd like to end on a note that really circles back to where our companies have a lot of like-mindedness, and that is people first culture. One of the things I love about Sol-Ark, besides your ownership, great friends with Bhavna, my sister in Christ for so long. We have done business together and worked hard together. Puya, Fifian, and your engineering department. The list goes on, right? I could list 50 people. You, Andy Goldstein. Wow, we've been partnering from the very beginning on creating awesome opportunities for installers out there to provide solutions for customers. I mean, I could go on and on, but talk about that. Your people first culture at Sol-Ark. You really put your people first. I love it. And our listeners, they love doing business with us at Soligent because of our people first culture as well. We love doing business with companies that treat their people right. You guys do that at Sol-Ark, right?
Absolutely. We put our people first, our employees first. Our customers are right behind the employees, and then the products. So we try to do things in that order without fail. It's extremely important. You know, we at the end of the day, we're all people, and so if we're making it our mission to help families, well, we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to do the right thing by the families that the company supports, and the others, of course, the same people that are dedicating their way more sometimes than 40 hours a week to the company. That's absolutely the truth, Josh. Couldn't have said it any better than you did. That
24-hour, response, 7 days a week. You're out there working on the back of a cliff somewhere, and you dial up Sol-Ark at 972-575-8875, and you go, hey, I got a response. Oh my gosh. And you're like, Wow, it says I need to update my system. Oh, no problem. We'll do that remotely for you right now. What? Who does that? Solark does it, man.
Yeah, well, the systems will be with you 24/7. We are 7 days a week, but we do have hours. So I'd like to clarify that for the audience.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We don't have a 24-hour hotline.
But the monitoring is 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Monitoring and the system granularity is absolutely 24/7 in real time, and we can, of course, if there's an emergency, you just leave a voicemail. Again, so we oftentimes, I understand, if there's somebody and they feel panicked for whatever reason, they may not leave a voicemail, they may just call. But even just a 5-second, hey, my name is John or Jane Doe, call me, that creates a ticket in our system, and we'll know it's urgent, and then somebody will absolutely get back with you as soon as possible.
Yeah, we don't get that in this world. We get like, oh, you didn't submit a ticket through the special portal and fill out a username and password. We're not going to call you back until you do that. No, I don't think so. We've got to take care of people, and we got to show them that they matter. And you guys do that every single day. And I love working with you and your team. And I'm going to continue to champion your products, your technologies, and your solutions to our customers every day, because your flexibility really does allow for our solar installers that are listening right now, gives them the ability to help any type of customer in any type of situation, whether it's NEM 3 and being able to maximize your return on investment in California, or it's emergency battery backup or whole house backup, grid tie only, off-grid, hybrid, using a generator, commercial, industrial. The list goes on. EV charging solutions coming, optimizers coming, microinverter solutions coming. Solark really is the best inverter, in my opinion, in the universe. And you can get this inverter system and solutions and technologies right here at Soligent. Click on the link below, folks, to do that. Andy Goldstein, Regional Director of Sales from Solark. Available again, Solark at Soligent, folks. Get it right here. Andy, I really appreciate, I'm going to let you go because we're at the end of the show. I'm just amazing how quickly time flies when you're having fun, Andy.
Appreciate it. We thank you, and we appreciate your support. And again, anybody, don't be shy. Just reach out to us, and we'll get your questions answered and get you taken care of. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Again, give Solark a call. Andy, hang on the line for our engineers, please. Thank you, my friend. Give Solark a call today, 972-575-8875. That's 972-575-8875. Click on the link below. Get Solark in your hands and in your customers' hands today, right here from Soligent. Thanks for joining us every single week. Experts like Andy there from Solark, experts from around the world. The why, the reason why we do it. We're creating an emissions-free future, a world that is beyond emissions. And the how we're going to do it is those experts in technology and innovation from around the world that come on our show to talk about the how. We're going to get that done, and we're going to make it happen. We're making a difference every single day. It's quantifiable. We're actually making a difference in people's lives right here together. Thanks for joining us every single week right here at Beyond Emissions Podcast at Spotify and at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the reminder bell right there in the corner, and comment down below. Be a part of our ongoing conversation about what it's going to take to create a world that is beyond emissions. I'm Josh Brumm, Energy Storage Manager and host of the Beyond Emissions Podcast right here by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. CALSA, CALSSA, stands for California Solar and Storage Association. Join over 700 companies, including Soligent, and become a CALSA member today. Go to www.calsa.org/join and enter Soligent as the discount code and receive 10% off your first year. Membership starts as low as $500 per year and covers you and your entire company. You can pay in monthly installments or once per year. Why join CALSA? For over 40 years, CALSA has been fighting for your rights in California. If you're an installer or contractor in California, it's CALSA working behind the scenes on your behalf to protect the solar and energy storage business you and your companies rely on each day. Imagine the utilities are totally unchecked without CALSA fighting for you. CALSA fights for your rights and also provides resources like direct one-on-one support from their experts to help you with your questions, navigating everything from NEM 3 to battery fire code compliance. CALSA will help you and your company to stay up to date on the latest policy changes that impact the California solar and storage market and your bottom line. Joining CALSA helps to fund their work to lobby for cutting solar and storage red tape, pass pro-solar laws, and to defend your business from attacks. Become a CALSA member today at www.calsa.org/join and enter the discount code Soligent to receive 10% off your first year. CALSA is fighting for you and your business. Join over 700 companies like Soligent and make a difference in the California solar and energy storage market today.